Hey, what's up, YouTube? Just want to check in with y'all guys, talk about some breeding habits and breeding myths. Mainly myths today. So I want to start with this group right here, Ammo and his young lady. The young lady is inside of the log right there. So I took out the last two remaining its leaders in this tank and I put them in a holding area for their safety because Ammo was attacking the male, or one of the males in there. So I took them out. These two now have their own tank, and we're going to see what they do. We're going to see if they decide to go ahead and do the do. They have all the opportunity to do so. But what I wanted to talk about with the breeding practices is, there's a lot of myths about the certain things you could do to spark a spawning. And the way I look at it, and I don't know everything, but from my experience, breeding fish, um, the fish will breed when they want. Whenever they're ready to breed, they'll breed. So whether you're doing water changes and um, even before I get further into this, happy Resurrection Sunday today, and I'll be back on Facebook um, because the Lent season is over for me. So if you haven't heard about it or don't know anything about it, go ahead and search up on Facebook All Things Avalovas and join that group for me, please. But um, the size of the fish doesn't matter. The age of the fish doesn't matter. Um, Food doesn't matter. Some people say make sure the lights are always off, or turn the temperature up, or do water changes every other day. It's a lot of things that people say that you can do and never get a spawn. I've had spawns when I done none of that stuff. As a matter of fact, back in 2000 and I want to say 2015, I had a spawn with two young citronellas. One was maybe 4 inches, and the other one was probably about both 4 inches. And I had them in a small tank, and one day I came down and I seen a small spawn. Same with some Dovi I had. I had a three inch Dovi female, 4 inch Dovi male, young. After they killed all the other, because it was a group of six, they eventually killed everybody else, and they wound up spawning. And they had a big old batch of eggs, a big spawn, and they were great parents. 4 inch, 3.5, 4 inch fish. None of the conditions were different. I didn't cover the tank. I didn't keep the lights out. I didn't feed them anything special. I didn't do water changes excessively. They were just ready to spawn. So that's the thing. When it comes to fish, and we all sometimes like I'm pressed to breed these fish because there's not that many as leaders in the hobby right now, and and I want to ensure that I am able to keep this, not only the lineage going, but the fish itself going. Keeping the fish going. So my goal, is to continue to separate my fish and do the things that we need to do to ensure that this species of fish keep it going. But again, these are two smaller fish. The male he may be 7 inches. The female is 6 inches. They are what I would consider younger fish. They've been here for like 2.5 years, but when I got them, they were 1 inch. The both of these fish are 1 inch, maybe 2 inches at the most. But again, these fish, they spawn when they're ready, or lay eggs when they're ready. I'll pan over to this tank. Two 12-inch fish. I have Stallion here, and I have Zeke on that side, Zeke on the left, Stallion on the right. Two 12-inch fish. Neither of these fish has ever been bred. My red is lead male, my red devil female. These fish will probably never breed to any other fish. When I first got Stallion, I put her in with Cosmo. She instantly tried to kill him. So I pulled her out after maybe a week or two being in with Cosmo to save Cosmo. Again, she's 12 inches and she has some age on her, never been bred and probably won't breed. She shows absolutely no interest in breeding, and she will probably, her and Zeke will probably always be fish who need to be separated, who live a life of solitude because of their aggressive nature, and they just show absolutely no desire to breed. Um, Same for Cosmo. Cosmo is here. Is the big guy. You know, Cosmo had a history of killing every female that was ever placed in a tank with him. Cosmo is well over 14 inches. He's the oldest fish I have. He's probably one of the oldest fish in the hobby, to tell you the truth. He's an old fish. Never been bred, that shows no desire to breed. There's been numerous females in this very tank with him. Numerous females in this very tank with him. Never showed any interest in breeding. You know, like I said, again, it goes to show you that, these fish will breed when they're ready. I guess Cosmo is never ready. He'll never be ready. But, it is what it is. And I'll pan over to this guy here, Prince. I got Prince when he was about 6 inches. Prince is a good 10 inches now, maybe 10 and a half, 11 inches. Amphilophus lion's eye. He had a issue with eating the eggs before the eggs, could hatch. He would breed, but he would eat the eggs. So I was able to catch one of the spawns with him. Actually, I had the first spawn with him. It was a small batch. The eggs hatched, and he ate all of the fry. The second time, I put him in the tank opposite of Cosmo. Him and Prada at the time, in the tank opposite of Cosmo. And what I've noticed when I did that is they were successfully able to spawn, and he was defending the fry, from Cosmo, which I thought was cool. But like I said, man, this is kind of hard to gauge these fish. So I'm trying to raise up a female now to try to breed to him. Maybe in the summer I'll put a female in with him to see how he does with her. It's a small female. Maybe she may not even be ready, but I'll put her in a little bit to see what she does with him. But I know when I do it though, I'm gonna have to put I had to put a fish on the other side. That way he can at least feel threatened, and he'll wind up wanting, if she does lay in a spawn, he'll be more inclined to defend the fry. So now here I have these two. Tootie over in the corner there, and this guy, he chased her over there because I come over here, he think it's food. Rhino and Tootie. So this is my Raiders Leaders project number 1, and I am hoping that these two decide to get along, and and decide to lay eggs for me. As of now, Tootie hasn't laid any eggs. Rhino, he's patient with her. It's just that when it comes to food, he becomes real aggressive towards her. But other than that, like if I wasn't here, they get along fine. The minute I come down here, all the fish, the first thing they think it's food time basically. So he becomes aggressive towards her because he thinks that she's going to eat his food. She's hiding in the corner. But I am pressed to breed these two because again, I want to continue to Raiders Leaders, continue the species, and not only that, but continue this lineage that I started dating back to 2017, which is about 10 years old now. But yeah, even panning over to this tank here with my Hogas, right? I got the Hogas as a pair. Shotgun Shelly and Nature Boy is there. I think they've always been separated. So when I got them initially, I separated them, and then when I moved them to this tank here, I placed them together. But I also placed them in with a young Pistol Pete, and I had Son of Sam, and I had his brother in here as well, because I was afraid that Nature Boy would take Shelly out. He's just super aggressive. He doesn't even bother with the other fish in here. He just hates her. And she's the only female in here. This is another project I want to continue with the Hogas. It's hard to find Hogas, right? That's the reason for me purchasing these, and about 2.5 years ago. And Hogas are actually my absolute favorite of all the Midas subspecies. So as you can see, his tube is down, but that's not, you know, unusual for his tube to be down. You know, that's just what he does. Um, Sometimes I'll see her tube down, but as of yet, she hasn't laid any eggs, and so I contemplated taking out these two, Sam and Pistol, and giving them to the tank. I may do that in the summer. I got a little female for him, and she is wreaking havoc in that tank with the lions eye. She even got the big lions eye males running. So I most definitely want to try to get them those two paired up soon. So um, again, in a couple months, I'll be moving some fish around, and I'll be acquiring some more tanks. The way I could do these projects. But for right now, my main focus is trying to get Islitas fry, and then the next focus will try to get the lion's eye fry, and then the focus after that is red devil fry. And if I could get Hoga fry, which I doubt, but if I could get Hoga fry, that would be amazing. It would be absolutely amazing. But again, breeding, man, these fish breed when they're ready. You can do whatever you want and never get a spawn. It is what it is. It is what it is. But I did turn the tank up to 82 on this tank down here. So that is set at 82. This tank today, again, this was water change Sunday. I changed 3/4 of the water in here, only because so all my tanks today got at least a 50% water change, because I wanted to do a real deep cleaning of the gravel today for everybody. I felt that it was needed, but this one here got 3/4 of the tank. I just went on with it, and so yeah, this is 3/4 of the tank was changed today. I want to say about 50%, a little bit, maybe a little bit more with it changed in this one. 50% changed in this one here, and then the other tanks got as well as 50%. So that's where we at now. We're gonna see how things go moving forward. With these fish here. Prince, Rosabella. Rosabella is another one. I might be trying to get some females for him this summer. Just waiting to get the right females, the right location, the right breeder. All that stuff matters when it comes to me purchasing fish. I need to make sure I know the lineage and exactly where the fish come from. So yep, that's where we at. All right, thank you so much for watching. Again, I appreciate y'all guys for the support. Please visit All Things Amphilopus on Facebook, All Things Amphilopus on Instagram. Please like, share, subscribe. Stop what you're doing right now. And like this video. Like it. Let's get the likes up on these videos, so more people can get the opportunity to see these fish, to learn more about these fish. But yeah, so also, before I go, I'm in negotiations of trying to acquire a new feste. So hopefully by the end of the week I could get that started, and we'll have some more feste in the fish room as well. Feste and red tigers is what I'm going after next. I have the feste and red tiger breeding program hopefully popping off as well, so we'll see. But everything here is Amphilopus besides that